So when exactly is it okay to take a break from the gym? Before we get started, comment down below, what is your best time to take a break from the gym? It's important to know when to stop working out because we don't want to cause any further damage to what might be going on, whether this is physically or mentally. But at the same time, we don't want to give into the mentality that the gym is our priority 100% of the time and nothing else in life matters. And I'll explain what I mean here in a second. But first, a word from our sponsor. Just kidding, there is no sponsor, but be sure to drop a like down below to help with the algorithm. Thank you. But just to be clear, I am referring to a temporary time, whether this is days, weeks, or even longer. And I'm going to dive right into it with one of the biggest problems of this whole entire video, and that is changing circumstances. I like the idea from Alex Hormozi where he talks about looking at life in a series of seasons. Now the season isn't necessarily referring to spring, summer, fall, and winter, but the time that could encompass a whole era in your life, or even maybe just a phase of that era in your life. For example, you might have had a season of the gym where lifting is your biggest priority, or maybe you had a season where your social life became your priority. So some examples of changing circumstances include injuries, surgeries, and health issues, as well as pregnancy and postpartum. And of course, lifestyle changes like moving or getting a new job. Now, of course, these are all great reasons where a break may be needed in order to adjust to these new circumstances. Now, I keep emphasizing that this is a temporary break because eventually you will want to adapt to your situation and then implement your fitness routines that way. Now, with that being said, change often comes with some sort of mental or emotional change as well. And I think whether it's for better or for worse, there is stress included. Now, remember, exercise is actually one of the absolute best ways to help reduce stress, but realistically, it might not always be the priority. So it really is okay to take a break, especially if exercise starts to become mentally or emotionally draining. For example, if you are trying to bulk and you're tracking your macros to a T and you're trying to go to the gym 6 days a week, you're probably putting too much stress on yourself with all these extra added factors in if you are going through some sort of drastic change in your life. So I encourage you to try to find some sort of simple alternatives that may help your emotional and mental well-being. And some examples could be as simple as playing with dogs, listening to your favorite music, and maybe even journaling on how you feel. Finding balance is important, and this includes work, rest, exercise, school, and so on. It's okay to take rest days or breaks if you are trying to maintain your overall well-being. And try to avoid any sort of guilt or self-judgment when taking these breaks, because the reality is other things have taken the priority at this moment. And once things are settled, there can very likely be a season of gym. Now, a common one for a lot of hardcore gym goers is listening to your body. There's a lot of stigma around being tough in the fitness industry, and I've been there, trust me. I've gotten myself extremely hurt before, and I've even missed a whole year of high school sports because I was trying to tough things out and not be a wuss. And that just ended up putting me out of commission for a whole entire year. Now, of course, there is this gray area between exercise pain and injury pain. So here are some signs of overtraining and burnout. Decreased performance, persistent fatigue, and frequent injuries. There. Those are 3 things to look out for, and you should probably take a break from if you start to experience any or multiple of these. And of course, if you're starting to overtrain because you aren't seeing your goals yet, you either possibly went about it wrong, which is okay because then you'll just adjust next time, or you're not setting realistic goals. Now, this is important because if you're constantly setting the bar too high, you're just going to feel unmotivated, feel bad about yourself, and worst of all, quit. And once you do hit these realistic goals, it is okay to take a break, especially if you had to grind through it, like a bodybuilding competition, for example. But of course, if you're healthy and this just motivates you even more, then by all means, please keep going. There's no problem in celebrating your accomplishments, but then again, be realistic with the celebration and be sure not to fall into the trap of going backwards. Now, this is sort of an extreme example, but if you're 2 years sober from alcohol, don't celebrate with 10 beers that night, because this could trigger some sort of unhealthy effect, and you end up just going back to the same old style that you used to know. TLDR, changing circumstances can be tough and lead to mental issues, so it's important to find that proper balance, and we should listen to our bodies so we can set realistic goals for ourselves and truly understand when it is okay to take a break from the gym. So I encourage you to assess your own circumstances and make informed decisions about your fitness routines. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and YouTube thinks you're gonna love this video right here, so be sure to check it out next.